I'm Christine Lisi. Warriors forward Andrew Wiggins expected to return to the team early this week, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. He's missed 22 games attending to a family matter. He'll provide a crucial boost for Golden State ahead of the playoffs. He'll certainly help defensively, but he's not a cure-all for the defending champs, points out ESPN's Kendrick Perkins.
Andrew Wiggins has been out an extended period of time. Yep. He's coming back. This is the playoffs already. And it's not no guarantee that the Golden State Warriors are getting into the postseason. So with him coming back, you have to worry about his load management for his workload. You have to worry about, is his win going to be right? We can't expect him to come back on elite status.
Kendrick Perkins on NBA Today. The spotlight on Houston tonight for the men's national championship game between Connecticut and San Diego State. UConn is seeking a fifth national title since 1999. The agent for former Georgia defensive lineman Jalen Carter told ESPN's Adam Schefter Carter is only visiting with teams with picks in the top 10 in this month's upcoming NFL draft.
When you're trying to hire and fill open jobs, the searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed, their powerful hiring platform that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musu. And Mr. Toby Tom. Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. By now, you know we all watched it, but in case you missed it, this is how it sounded on the LSU Sports Radio Network. Patrick Wright with a call he waited some 20 years to make.
Morris in the backcourt's got to get it to the front court. Behind her back dribble, she does. 3, 2, 1. Ball game is over! Your Fighting Tigers are national champions in year number 2 of the Kim Mulkey era. 102-85 the final. Tiger fans everywhere, celebrate your LSU Tigers. Woo!
Oh, yeah! Let's go! What? What? Are you kidding me? Year 2? Year freaking 2?
Year 2.
Kim Mulkey with the swaggiest coach alive. And I'm an Ernie White guy saying it. So you know it's true. The Bayou Barbie. The one they call Lex Luthor. Can't see me. Jasmine Carson! This girl is on fire! Oh my God, like, literally couldn't miss! She couldn't miss! 7 of 7! She banked one in! She called it! I heard her call it! From Frisco! Unbelievable! Crown them, y'all. LSU women's basketball national champs. What a day that was, man. What a weekend it was for LSU. The baseball team takes a series against Tennessee. Of course, the Tiger basketball team wins the national championship. The gymnasts are off to the regional finals in one of the most, which I'm sure none of you watched because there was all the euphoria around the women's basketball team, but the drama around the tiebreaker for them to advance was wild. Softball had a great weekend. I mean, what a time. What a weekend. LSU wins the national championship. I couldn't help but think, y'all. I'm sitting there watching this game yesterday, and I was covering the team later in those Final Four runs. I was a student. Their first Final Four was the year I graduated, 2004, and I was in the then New Orleans arena in 2004 when LSU lost 52-50 to Tennessee. Tamika Johnson got pickpocketed around half court. It looked like we're headed for overtime. Tennessee got the run-out layup to win it 52-50. A year later in Indianapolis, 2005, it was Kim Mulkey winning Baylor's first national championship, undoing LSU 68-57. 2006, Tigers couldn't get past Duke. They put only 45 points on the board, got run by Duke 64-45 in that game. A year later against Rutgers, it got even worse. LSU only scored 35 in that game. Do you remember that? 59-35 was the final in that Final Four game against Rutgers. And then the last of the 5 Final Fours was a rematch with Tennessee, another low-scoring game where it looked like finally LSU was going to break through in their 5th opportunity, the last for Sylvia Fowles. And Tennessee, off of a miss, got a putback with less than a second remaining and beat LSU 47-46. And LSU has been through a college basketball wilderness over the decades since, where they just have meandered under for a decade under Nikki Fargas and Scott Woodward. Scott Woodward became the athletic director. He made a change. He made the decision to go get Kim Mulkey at whatever cost. And here you are, less than 2 calendar years later, the national champions in women's college basketball. Incredible. We got a lot to talk about. I want to talk about legacy. I want to talk about historical perspective. I want to talk about what this means for Kim Mulkey's legacy, of course, where they go from here, all that stuff. We'll get plenty of reaction. I do want to talk about all the Angel Reese stuff. I'll use the air quotes controversy because that's what a lot of people are talking about today, and so we'll certainly talk about it. I'll say this was this is not the best LSU team ever. They have put better, more talented teams on the floor. But this team, they are now the standard bearer. They are the ones who climbed the mountain. They are the ones who broke through. They are the ones that got it done. And for that, they will always be the first. And hopefully there are many, many more to follow. But there's something about always being the first. And this sort of group that was mismatched together, as we all know, 9 new players on this team, so many that they got via the transfer portal. Of course, Angel Reese, you bring Alexis Morris back from a year ago, but we know her sort of circuitous story, how it started with Kim Mulkey, now ends as a national champion. Pretty incredible how this all came together in this weekend. And I'm sure many of you felt the same way I did, that on Friday night when you saw Iowa beat South Carolina, you felt like this was an inevitability. I'm not sure that any of us thought the game would go exactly the way it did, which we'll talk about, but the matchup favored LSU so much more against Iowa than against South Carolina. South Carolina's size was going to be a problem for LSU, which has all season lived in the paint and lived on second chance points and offensive rebounds and all those things that South Carolina can take away from LSU, like they did in the matchup in Columbia earlier this year. But Caitlin Clark was absolutely on fire in that regional, or in the national semifinal. They beat South Carolina, and that opened the door for LSU to kick it in and win the first national championship in program history. Kim Mulkey was emotional after the game. We all heard it, we saw it, but here she was after the game, after winning her 4th national title.
With about 1:30 to go, I couldn't hold it. Got very emotional. That's really not like me until that final buzzer goes off, but I knew we were going to hold on and win this game. And I don't know if it's the mere fact that we are doing this in my 2nd year back home. I don't know if it was the fact that I am home. I don't know if it was looking across there at my daughter and my grandchildren. I don't know if it was looking across at LSU. I don't know what it was, but I lost it. So that should tell you what I think about it. Very, very emotional and tears of joy. The day Kim Mulkey was introduced as
the LSU women's basketball coach. This clip has been played quite a bit now. You've all heard it, but for the sake of context here, we'll play it again.
I want you to see those banners behind you right there. Final Four, Final Four, Final Four, Final Four. Nowhere on there does it say national champion. That's what I came here to do.
We all knew that she would get there. And I went back and actually listened to the show the day she was introduced, and that was a theme that we all talked about that day, was if Kim Mulkey's time at LSU comes and goes and she does not win a national championship, it would have to be characterized as a failure. She was here to do one thing, and she's already done it. And now the question is, how many more can she build upon it, which is really exciting to think. We all knew Kim would win one. We believed it. It was the expectation when she came here. And now you think about Kim Mulkey being the first to win a championship at two different schools in women's college basketball, the third most championships behind only Gino Auriemma and Pat Summitt. By the way, I really angered some UConn and Tennessee fans. More on that in a bit when we talk about the historical place where Kim Mulkey now falls. Most points ever scored in a national championship game, 102. And we all knew that this was likely when South Carolina lost on Friday. Iowa, for their point, they basically become what Mississippi State was in 2018. Do you remember? Mississippi State, a buzzer beater in the Final Four, beat UConn to end their 111-game winning streak. I'm going to say that again. Mississippi State hit the buzzer beater to end UConn's 111-game winning streak. They advanced to the national championship, but they lost to Notre Dame. So South Carolina, in this instance, was the UConn of that scenario. And Iowa did their bidding and upended an undefeated defending national champion and could not get the last one. LSU was just the better team. A lot of people today are talking about the game. I've heard a lot of the national talking heads discussing the officiating in the ball game. And what I will say is that I completely agree. I did not like the officiating. I wish that it was looser. I wish they had called a looser game and let the ladies play. We were, for large swaths of that game, robbed of the star power that people tuned in to see. Angel Reese and Alexis Morris and Caitlin Clark. And because of the foul troubles, Angel Reese was on the bench for the final few minutes of the first quarter. Didn't play the entire second quarter. But LSU built their lead because they were absolutely unconscious shooting the basketball. But as far as the fouls called, for anyone who challenges this at all, Iowa had 19 whistles against them. LSU had 18. Iowa, 15 of 20 from the free throw line. LSU, 15 of 21. When you look at how the officials called this game, it was consistently tight both ways. Listen, the whistles disrupted the flow and all that stuff. It just forced these teams to play a different style of game and to go deeper into their bench, and LSU's bench responded. Jasmine Carson had a day that people are going to talk about forever. And the unlikeliest of heroes on this team, someone who came in averaging a couple of points a game and absolutely went outside of her mind and was 7 of 7 from 3 in the first half. Literally couldn't miss. But it wasn't just her. We saw last year Poa rattle one home. We saw Kateri Poole hit a couple of threes, as a matter of fact. This is an LSU team that a week ago was amazing. I texted Gordy Rush, because we were watching the Elite Eight game against Miami together at the Guarantee Leadership Retreat a week ago, and we were watching LSU play Miami, and in that game, LSU shot 30% from the floor and 8% from three. They made one three-pointer. One against Miami in the Elite Eight. And last night, they went absolutely unconscious. 54% from the floor, 64.5% from three. They were just unconscious from the floor. And you needed a big-time performance in the biggest of spots, and LSU got it. Alexis Morris, when she was the primary defender on Caitlin Clark, did yeoman's work. You have a great player like that, and you limit her to 30 points. But really, the effort in the second half was incredible. So this LSU women's basketball team, they break through. What a day it was for women's college basketball. I mean, that that environment, sold out, raucous, star power, the controversy that's followed, it's had people talking about it in a way that they don't typically talk about women's college basketball. So it was a great thing for the sport. For the 5th consecutive year now, we've had a different champion. So you're starting to see more parity in the game. Yesterday's game was the first time for both LSU and Iowa in the national championship game. So you continue to see parity grow in this sport. It's a good thing for that sport. As more teams feel like they have a shot. And it was LSU's turn, and they climbed the mountain, planted their flag. Tigers are the national champions. All right, we got a lot to talk about today. I'm going to take a lot of your interaction. If you want to get it in, please feel free to do so. You can always email us. You can tweet us. You can jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat. You can text in the 225 at 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. All right, let me knock out a break. When we come back, I do want to give you my thoughts on I keep saying it this way because I just don't know any other way to say it, but the controversy with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. So I do have some thoughts on it. We'll talk about it when we come back. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. A gigantic congratulations from all our friends at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys to the LSU Lady Tigers, to the women's basketball team, to Kim Mulkey, who's part of the G team, to Angel Reese, to Alexis Morris, to all of the ladies that made it happen and claiming LSU's first ever national championship in women's college basketball. Listen, we talk about the G team and all that Gordon has done from an NIL perspective with not just LSU athletes, but athletes at different universities and colleges all over the state of Louisiana in so many different sports, giving great opportunities for young people all over our state. But Gordon also, of course, has been helping injured people in Louisiana for more than 30 years. That's why I say if you've been in an accident, then it's not your fault. You've been injured. Get Gordon and get it done. Let Gordon represent you the way he does and has helped people in Louisiana for 3 decades. And, of course, congratulations to the national champs. Get Gordon and get it done.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Jeep Gladiators and $8,000 off new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokees. All new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walk.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TV to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Inbounds comes to Poa into the front court with 3. She will hand it to Carson. Fades away for 3.
Oh!
She banked it in!
Oh!
Carson falling away, banked it in! She can't miss!
I would definitely say this is the game of my life because, I won a national championship on the biggest stage possible, in college. But when I woke up, I just wanted to win. I wanted to do anything that, my team needed in this game, whether it was defense, rebounding, just anything, supporting them. And, I scored tonight, and that's what, pushed us and got us momentum, and I'm just proud of my teammates.
Jasmine Carson, I don't know if you all remember this, and maybe some of you do. Forgive me if you do. But Samuel L. Jackson was narrated an LSU video at one point. People were wondering how that all happened. Well, it happened because of Jasmine Carson. Samuel L. Jackson is good family friends with Carson's family. I read one article many months ago that sort of described Jasmine, sort of described him as like an uncle, not a by blood, but just how you refer to someone who's close to the family as an uncle. So pretty incredible. So Samuel L. Jackson was tweeting all throughout the game, molten after that half-ending bank. Go ahead, Jasmine. He tweeted, if you want to check out Samuel L. Jackson on Twitter, you can see his thread of tweets during the game. Between the announcers and the refs, I can't believe Iowa's losing. I need to turn off the sound. Go LSU. And then finally, the whoop whoop, big up LSU, NCAA women's basketball champs. Dope finish for Jasmine Carson's collegiate career. Congrats. So Samuel L. Jackson is an LSU fan, as we know is Lil Wayne, who was tweeting throughout all this, and many others. They certainly transcended the sport, which is a great thing for women's college basketball. I don't know that there's really any other way to say that. It's and we're going to talk about some of the TV ratings and a lot of the exposure and everything, but I think one of the things that women's college basketball did that was very smart with their TV partners is they made this a Friday-Sunday event as opposed to what it was prior in a Sunday-Tuesday event, sort of following the men, but by taking Friday night prime time and delivering with a great product and then having a Sunday matinee on ABC, it only served to elevate the attention, the awareness on this event. So really well done all the way around for women's college basketball. So you've probably all seen it by now. The gesture that Angel Reese made at the end of the game. She did the John Cena "You Can't See Me" and pointed at her ring finger at Caitlin Clark is kind of the thing that got most people's attention. And after the game, Angel Reese was asked about it, and here's what she said on the podium.
I'm happy. I mean, all year I was critiqued about who I was. The narrative, I don't fit the narrative. I don't fit in the box that y'all want me to be in. I'm too hood, I'm too ghetto. Y'all told me that all year. But when other people do it, y'all don't say nothing. So this was for the girls that look like me, that's going to speak up on what they believe in. It's unapologetically you. And that's what I did it for tonight. This was for it was bigger than me tonight. It was bigger than me. Twitter is going to go in a rage every time. And I mean, I'm happy. I feel like I've helped grow women's basketball this year. I'm super happy and excited. So I'm looking forward to celebrating in the next season.
By the way, good for her. First of all, every great sport, every great rivalry, anything great in sports that gets that level of attention and notoriety has a heel. It's just the way things work. I mean, just look at pro wrestling. Like, you have to have a heel. There are good guys and bad guys. It causes the push and the pull. It's what generates attention. It makes you pick a side. It matters. And sometimes the team you cheer for is the heel. And there were a lot of people watching that wanted the All-American girl, Caitlin Clark, if you want to phrase it that way, to win. And I think the way that Angel Reese described how she's been labeled, too hood, too ghetto, not fitting the narrative, she's right. As evidenced by the reaction. And she called it. She said Twitter's gonna melt. And it did. Listen, Dave Portnoy's tweet that many of you saw, and I can't read Dave Portnoy's tweet or Keith Olbermann's tweet because they're vulgar. And we're here on live radio. But that plays exactly into what she said. She's not stupid. She's very plugged in and understands what is being said about her. And when you're going to be very public facing, you're going to get a lot of that. From my perspective, I will be completely consistent here. I love it. I'm the guy who sits here and tells you I love bat flips, right? I love touchdown celebrations. Sports are supposed to be fun. Go have fun. The unwritten rules of you can't disrespect this person or that, go have fun. Like, sports are supposed to be fun. And sometimes you do that and then you lose and it gets rubbed in your face. If you dish it out, you got to be able to take it, all that stuff. So it doesn't bother me. But if you're an LSU fan today and you often speak out against those types of things and now it's your team, then you can in turn celebrate it or just use it as a teaching opportunity and a teaching moment. It doesn't bother me. I love it. I love the emotion, the passion. I hate cliched coach speak. Give me truth. Give me honesty. Let people pick sides. That's awesome for Angel Reese. Now, the point that she made also at the beginning of that is when other people do it, you don't say anything. To the point, I don't know if you saw this, but ESPN literally had a feature this weekend called Caitlin Clark, the Queen of Clapbacks. I'm going to play some of this. This was a feature that ESPN did this weekend. Give a listen.
We love to see a good clapback, right? And no one does that better than Caitlin Clark. I mean, just a couple of days ago in her game against Louisville, she basically told Haley Van Lith, you're down 15 points. Shut up. We're going to go talk to some of her teammates to see what are some of their best Caitlin clapbacks or best motivations. Let's find out.
The last game when she was like, you can't see me. That really got everyone fired up. When she gets an and one, she'll like go like this and come to the bench and she'll be like, let's go. That's pretty fun. She gets pretty fiery in our timeouts. You know, she might even clap back at us because she wants us to play with that same fire, you know, and sometimes we're pretty even-keeled, some of us, but she's like, let's go, come on, dive on the floor, whatever it may be.
She always will just come to me like after a timeout, before I'm at like a tough stretch, we think, and she'll just like give me a little bit of extra reassurance. Honestly, I think the last Elite Eight game, I loved when she did the John Cena thing. I think that was so cool.
One time, I don't even remember which game it was, but she came over to the bench and I think she had just made a shot or something. She came over to the bench and she just stood right in front of us and was just clapping at us, and we all like, there was just a picture of us surrounding her.
Honestly, she's done it a lot, but in the Louisville game when I was 0 for 4, she like grabbed me and was like, you better keep shooting, like keep your head up, like, and I think just having seeing the confidence that she has in me, it makes me want to like, I don't have time to like feel sorry for myself.
I love when she just hypes up the crowd and then everyone just goes wild. It's awesome. Every time.
Again, Queen of the clapback. Some of that is being a great teammate, getting in your team's face, being motivated opponent. Some of it is, by definition, taunting your opponent. And I don't care about any of it. I think it's great. Play with fire, play with passion, play with intensity, but be consistent. Like, if you're going to sit here and call Angel Reese ghetto, you're showing your cards there. But there are usually when you garner the type of attention that Angel Reese has over the past, certainly the past 24 hours, You're going to get attention, understandably. And I saw this from the On3 NIL page. So Angel Reese, her social media following is now approaching 2 million followers across all platforms. And apparently, according to Angel Reese's agent, Janine Agbanaya, and this is again from the NIL on 3 NIL page, they've reached out to Mattel about a possible Bayou Barbie deal, which the quote reads, all things are on the table. They've evaluated shoe deal inquiries as well. So the point is, this is going to have a happy ending for Angel Reese. Go be authentically you. There's going to be some people who don't like it, and that's okay. But be you, and you'll garner fans and supporters and all that sort of stuff. And oh, by the way, you win. And she's super sellable and marketable. She's a great athlete. She's a beautiful girl. She's got a great personality. There's a lot going on there that's a marketer's dream. So it's going to go well for Angel Reese. And Keith Olbermann, what happened to that guy? I mean, I used to love watching The Big Show with Dan Patrick, Keith Olbermann, when sports were fun. And now you have a 64-year-old man calling a 20-year-old girl an effing idiot on social media. And he spelled it out, effing idiot. If that was my daughter and some old-ass man is on social media calling my daughter an effing idiot, oh, bro. I mean, sometimes we just lose perspective and sight of the fact that they're still human beings. My God. And you know what? I'm actually really bummed. Seriously, I'm bummed that I had to take this time out of the show today to talk about this because it feels like it's fading some of the afterglow of the championship, where we should just be talking about this great team and the great players and Kim Mulkey and legacy and all that sort of stuff and the celebration that's coming. But this has been an undeniable part of it. Every national outlet today was talking about this. Go look at any of the news sites. They all have columns written about this in particular. So it's a thing that you have to talk about in talking about this whole thing today. But ultimately, LSU wins the national championship. Angel Reese is a champion, and good for her for being authentically her. Okay. And by the way, Caitlin Clark, great player. Please keep taunting people. It's great. Go drop 40 and do the you can't see me in their face. I don't care. Good. Go do it. It's fun. And women's basketball is going to benefit because of it. All right. It's after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. You know where to find them at Relief Windows. Airline in Prairieville, going south on 42, south past 42, look to your right, or online at ReliefWindows.com. Windows door siding, Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Okay, quick break. I promise we're going to get to a lot of your reaction today, so keep your tweets. I have it. Okay. I have it on the rundown for the start of hour 2, so 27 minutes from right now. I'm going to talk about Kim Mulkey's legacy. My Twitter mentions are a disaster right now because I have pissed off every single UConn and Tennessee fan in existence. We'll get to that in about 27 minutes. We're glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Men's Natty is tonight. You need a place to watch. Get by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Remember, every Monday, all-you-can-eat wings. So tonight, you want to go watch the Natty? Great. Get by either Pluckers location. Get there early. Start ordering some wings. Drink some beers. Eat as many wings as you want. They're open until midnight or later every night of the week. So you can keep eating as many wings you want all night long for one low price. It's every Monday. All-you-can-eat wings at both Pluckers locations. You got San Diego State against UConn, the most improbable national title matchup. But here it is tonight. As a men's champion will be crowned. And if you want a place to watch in spectacular high definition, how about the Bluebonnet location has that big wall of TVs that's 8 foot by 13 foot. It's incredible. There's no better place in town to watch than right there at the Pluckers on Bluebonnet. But either location, Nicholson just south of campus, Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. Get on by and watch the Natty tonight at Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
There it is, the extra mile. on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TB to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walk.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go? Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
It means a lot to be able to do it for the fans, to be able to do it for the history, the ones who came before us. For Coach Moki, just her being in her second year, myself, my journey. And for the 9 new pieces, like how do we piece it together in such a short amount of time? I think we're pretty incredible, and that's kind of like answering your question. That's what I think of this team. I think we're amazing. A lot of different personalities, but we piece it together at the right time. We start clicking at the right time, and that's what matters the most. Super happy to be here at LSU. I told you I was gonna leave out on top.
As Alexis Morris. If you didn't see Alexis Morris's tweet, you got to go check it out. She's on Twitter at AlexisMorris45. She tweeted a picture of herself sitting on a couch holding the national championship trophy, smoking a cigar, and tweeted, channeling my inner at Joey B after getting this natty cigar season. So well done by Alexis Morris, honoring the past, not only in women's basketball, but obviously the greatest that's ever worn the purple and gold in Joey B. You can't help but feel good for Alexis Morris. After the, I believe it was around the SEC women's tournament, we played a soundbite from Alexis Morris here on the show, and it was, I don't know how you could help but love it. I understand that in the grand context of sports, Alexis Morris's story isn't going to be as high profile as other comeback stories. Even at LSU, I would argue something like Tyrann Mathieu's story is probably the standard bearer for someone who had the world in his hand, let it get away, and then brought himself back. But Alexis Morris is sort of in that same vein. She was a great young player. She was with Kim Mulkey at Baylor. We know a lot of the trials that she had. She bounced around from Rutgers to Texas A&M, thought her basketball career was over. She ends up back with Kim Mulkey at LSU, and now after 2 seasons, she's finishes her college career not only as a national champion, but at the ceremony today, for those that aren't aware, when the team got back, and I was happy enough to run over there and see it. When the team got back today, they had a 12:30 celebration at the Maravich Center. They ended it with the Bengal Brass Band playing the alma mater, and Alexis Morris jumped off the stage and directed the band in the alma mater, which was a pretty cool thing to see. So congrats to Alexis Morris, certainly the great stories of this team. All right, it is After Further Review. We're brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement. I'm going to go around the SEC in just a quick second. Michelli.com, with 29 offices across 11 different states. You're never far from Michelli Weighing and Measurement. More importantly, they're never far from you. If you need your precision measurement devices calibrated, they can do that for you. Just go to the website at Michelli.com. You can hit the calibration tab there at the top, and you'll see all of the things they do. You can request a quote. You can ship your equipment to them. They can always come on site and calibrate if you have equipment that can't leave. If you need ISO 17025 accredited calibration, they do that as well. If it's mass or torque, scale, force, temperature gauges, electronic pressure gauges, they do it all. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. Online again, Michelli.com. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn starting point guard Wendell Green, second-team All-SEC selection this year. He's declared for the 2023 draft. Spent 2 seasons at Auburn after starting his career at Eastern Kentucky. He does have until May 31st, as do all underclassmen, to withdraw from the NBA pool and retain college eligibility. That leaves 4 scholarships currently open for Auburn's basketball team.
The Florida Gators.
Former Yale forward E.J. Jarvis has announced he is joining the Florida basketball program. 6'8", 220, widely viewed as one of the top big men in the transfer portal in this class. He picked Florida over Cal, Georgetown, Georgia Tech, Miami, Northwestern, Notre Dame, and VCU.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Carolina men's basketball has landed a second player out of the transfer portal, this time after adding Talon Cooper from Minnesota. They've added forward Stephen Clark, who announced he was joining the Gamecocks. He has 1 year of eligibility remaining. He had previously played for the Citadel over the last 4 years.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
State's going to be without pitcher Pico Cone for the remainder of the season. He's got a torn UCL. He will undergo Tommy John surgery. After a February 22nd win, Chris Lemonis said that they were day-to-day with Cone, but hoping it was nothing serious. Clearly it is. A year ago, as a true freshman, Cone appeared in 21 games, primarily out of the bullpen, but did start twice.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
And Nick Saban has gotten a commitment from a highly regarded 2025 offensive lineman. It's Mason Short, who pledged to the Crimson Tide this weekend. 6'5", 302-pound offensive tackle out of Georgia. Short and wide receiver Ryan Williams are the first 2 commits for the Crimson Tide's 2025 class. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products. You know where to find them online at gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. Ask about the interactive whiteboards. No matter what size your business is, this is a product that became very popular and essential during COVID. The interactive whiteboards, as people were working remotely and trying to communicate with clients remotely. The interactive whiteboard is a great option for any size business. Literally, if you're a 2-person or 2,000-person business, they have an affordable option for you. It's Gulf Coast Office Products, gcopnet.com. How about Paul Skeens? How about the significance of the LSU women's basketball team winning the national championship? The baseball team took a series against Tennessee in one of the most anticipated series ever, where they literally set the attendance record on Thursday. And we're 45 minutes into the show, haven't even mentioned anything about the Tennessee series. We'll get to that next hour. But Paul Skeens today was named National Player of the Week by Collegiate Baseball. This is the 5th such honor for the LSU ace. Paul Skeens continues to be absolutely incredible in pacing this top-ranked LSU baseball team. So congrats to Paul Skeens on another honor. All right, it's After Further Review. We'll knock out a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up hour number 1. LSU football did get a commitment over the weekend. I'll give you a quick thumbnail on that, and we'll get to a lot of your interaction. Lots of texts coming into the show about the LSU Tigers the women's basketball team winning the national championship. So I'll get to some of those when we come back to wrap up hour number 1. We're glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by New Orleans Flooring. You can always catch them online at nolaflooring.com, nolaflooring.com. Some people say, wait, Matt, New Orleans Flooring in Prairieville? Yes. Their original location is in Metairie, so they are in New Orleans. And they opened up a second location recently on Airline Highway in Prairieville, so servicing Greater Baton Rouge and, of course, Greater New Orleans. It's New Orleans Flooring. So, again, you know where they are. I've explained it before, but if you're on Airline, you're going south on Airline. You go into Prairieville, you pass the Walmart, and they're on the right. The thing about New Orleans Flooring, a couple things. Number one, you're going to get great service. Big Sean and Terrell, awesome dudes, primarily run the office right there in Prairieville. Great people. But the other thing that's certainly the differentiator is you can save as much as 40% on flooring. This is the same flooring you'd buy anywhere else, but because they cut out the middleman, they pass the savings on to you. It's New Orleans Flooring. Buy where the pros buy. Why would you go anywhere else? It's New Orleans Flooring. Online at nolaflooring.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on select new 2022 Ford F-150 trucks. $10,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TV to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
The best kept secret.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Poole, they wanted to foul her but couldn't. 9 on the shot clock, got it back to Morris. Around traffic, gets it baseline Reese.
Get it back
with
up.
5, out to Poole. 3 ball, right wing Poole. Yes! It's good! It's good! It's good! The Tigers are going to win it! It's 98-82.
Anybody checked on Patrick Wright? I did see Patrick today at the celebration, so I feel good for him as well. A guy, look, who was there for the 5 straight Final Fours, all the disappointment that encompassed that run coming to the end of the way, did the almost decade sense of futility under Nicky Fargas, and then obviously this rise was just pretty incredible, and I think unexpected as well.
Did he have a voice left?
I said I saw Patrick
Okay,
Wright.
you didn't speak to him.
Not speak to Patrick Wright. Where the media was behind these partitions at the scorer's table, and the team came out of the tunnel with smoke and everything like that coming out, and then they went right up on the stage. And Patrick sort of meandered out and then just went into the bleachers behind the baseline. So did not have a chance to speak to Patrick, but yeah, veteran radio guy. Yeah, I'm sure he's got a voice. Yeah, for sure. All right, it's after further review. By the way, we talked about Angel Reese a bit ago, and LSU fans largely have supported Angel Reese, as I expect they would. I mean, she's yours, and they just won a national championship. She's a gigantic part of it. She just set the NCAA record for double-doubles in a season. She's incredible, so of course you're going to support yours as the parts nationally are criticizing her. Well, LSU President William Tate was at the celebration today at the Beverage Center with his wife Kim, and he did some media afterwards, and this is courtesy of our news partners at WBRZ. He addressed the Angel Reese, the criticism Angel Reese has gotten.
My comment is Angel Reese is one of the very best players in this country, and she plays in a certain way with some swag. And if you have a problem with it, beat her. That's all I have to say. If you can't beat her, sit down.
I love it, man. I guess you're in the right to say it, but the LSU Prez has her back. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us here. And I will, by the way, in about 10 minutes after Sports Center, I want to talk about Kim Mulkey's legacy, what this championship means for her personally and for her legacy. And yes, I'll say it again. I have pissed off every Tennessee and UConn fan on Twitter. My mentions are a disaster right now. But I'll tell you why. We'll get into it. So LSU football landed a commitment over the weekend. Kicker Aaron Burrell committed for the class of 2024. The recruiting services don't assign star ratings for specialists, but there are the Coles kicking camp will assign star rankings for those players sometimes, but essentially with a kicker and with a specialist, generally what you just want to make sure is that, number one, they've got the physical ability, like you have the leg, obviously, but then also I think a lot of it is mindset in that headspace as well. And sometimes it takes a certain coach to be able to recognize that in a player. Like, of course, we saw Greg McMahon identified that in Cole Tracy when he was at Little Assumption College. But look at what Cole Tracy meant for LSU football in this season here in 2018. I mean, LSU probably lose it. They certainly don't win the Auburn game. But the Miami game, the Mississippi State game, the bowl game. We forget how many games that season. Georgia, when LSU kept settling for field goals early. How many times Cole Tracy was so awesome and allowed LSU to build those leads. So, yeah, that matters in identifying that. Well, Aaron Burrell's a Louisiana kid from Parkway. I think the most interesting part about this and taking a commitment from a kicker is this is an illustration of the difference in college football now that the hard cap has been removed. When you could only sign a hard cap of 25 players, it was difficult to justify taking a kicker in every recruiting cycle. For example, LSU signed Dybert in 22. They signed Peyton Todd, a punter, the year before, but not a place kicker. They didn't sign anybody in 2020. In 2019, they signed Cade York and Skinner, the long snapper. Cole Tracy, of course, in 18. Nobody in 17. Connor Culp in 16. The last time they took a punter before Peyton Todd was Josh Groden back in 2015. So my point is, it was harder to justify investing a scholarship, one of your initial 25s, into a specialist because you only could sign 25 in a given year, and it might be better if you had a walk-on who might be able to grow and learn, or maybe every second or third year you would take a specialist in that spot. Well, now that the hard cap is gone and you could sign as many players as you want, as long as you stay under the 85, you can justify it because I look at LSU right now. They played the last 2 seasons without 85 scholarship players. A lot of times you end up giving scholarships to walk-ons because you have it available. So in this instance, if there's a player you really like, you can take a kicker in every class. So you took Dybert last year. You can take Burrell for 2024. I mean, you can take punters. You can take long snappers if you want, just as long as you stay under the 85. So I think we're going to see more and more of this. As far as Burrell, kid from Louisiana who wanted to stay home, apparently has all the tools necessary to be great. And LSU's going to need it. As they got a couple of good young kickers right now with Damian Ramos, and then we'll see what role Dybert continues to fill. He was the place kicker by the end of last season, handling kickoff duties. But they'll continue progressing in that area. So Aaron Burrell committed for the 2024 class for LSU. All right, we're going to knock out our final break. I'm sorry, we're going to hit the top of the hour here. When we come back, Tennessee and UConn fans hate me.
AFR.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. Our winning women's basketball Tigers returned back to Baton Rouge today with plenty of fanfare after winning a national title Sunday for the first time in program history. Now the week of celebration will continue with a parade scheduled for Wednesday. The party will continue in the PMAC later that evening. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Jeep Gladiators and $8,000 off new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokees. All new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TV to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of WAR.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A champion will be crowned tonight in Houston. Connecticut and San Diego State meet up in the men's national title game. The Huskies have won their 5 NCAA tourney games this year by double digits. The underdog Aztecs, who've needed a couple of comebacks to get this far, have to do a couple of things if they're going to deny UConn a 5th national championship, explains ESPN's LaFonso Ellis.
One, they have to keep UConn out of transition. They're absolutely explosive in transition to the rim, or you have several guys who are knocking down threes, including Jordan Hawkins in transition. And then secondly, they have to create some offense off of their defense. And then finally, they've got to get some easy ones on the offensive glass as well.
LaFonso Ellis on Fitz and Harry. NBA Warriors forward Andrew Wiggins, who played a big part of Golden State's championship run last season, is expected to return to the team early this week, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. He's missed 22 games attending to a family matter. The agent for former Georgia defensive tackle Jalen Carter told ESPN's Adam Schefter that Carter will only visit with teams picking in the top 10 in this month's NFL draft.
When you're trying to hire and fill open jobs, the searching, screening, and interviewing can become its own job. You need Indeed, their powerful hiring platform that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
You know what, kid? I'm not even mad at you today. I'm in too good of a mood. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. The LSU women are national champions. If you have not heard yet, Wednesday is the big celebration. There was a sort of welcome home celebration today at the Maravich Center. I didn't count heads, but I was there, and I would guess there were a couple of thousand people in the Maravich Center, and that might be actually a little bit of a conservative guess as far as the number. One entire side of the Maravich Center was nearly full from bottom all the way into the top level. So a really nice crowd to welcome them home. But Wednesday there will be a parade through LSU's campus. The parade's at 6:30, and it will finish at the Maravich Center for the formal celebration at 7 o'clock. So that should be an awful lot of fun. Make plans for this Wednesday if you can attend. So as soon as the game went final, I tweeted something that I've thought about for a while. This was not a prisoner of the moment thing. And to illustrate it, I went back and I pulled up this clip of plans for. Sorry, excuse me. I pulled up this clip of me and Kramer. Something that I've. Thank you. Hang on. I went back and pulled up this clip of me and Kramer from the day Kim was introduced. And as I recall it, Kramer flew in for that introductory celebration at the Maravich Center. And he was literally driving from the airport to the PMAC, and he was good enough to jump on the phone with us. And I asked him a question about legacy and the decision Kim made in coming to Baton Rouge. This is how that convo went. It's brief. I want to ask you about legacy and what that means for your mom, because she has a chance to do something that's never been done in women's college basketball, which would be to win a national championship at 2 different schools. That's something even Pat Summitt and Gino Auriemma, the standard bearers in this sport, never accomplished. Your mom has the opportunity to do that. What would that mean? What would that legacy mean for Kim Mulkey?
To her personally, to be frank, dead honest there, but I don't think she even thinks about that. I don't think she cares in the least bit. But for her legacy, when other people will remember her, yeah, that would be unbelievable. She's been the first to do so many things, and that's just another one to her list. It's honestly so much more important to her to bring joy to the people of Louisiana, have somebody, a positive figure and a positive light in the community and in the state of Louisiana. That's what motivates her, and that's why she wants to go out there and win and bring joy to all these people that have brought joy to her all these years growing up. It's almost like she's feeling like she's giving back to the state that's given her so much. So I think that's where her motivation is, and that's where her mindset is, more so than doing something that Gino or Pat hasn't done, being the first to do something. She's already been the first to do so many things in her career. I think that's the least of her worries. So
again, that was Kramer on this show 2 years ago, the day that Kim was introduced. And so I wanted to preface that because I'm going to share with you the thing I tweeted immediately after the game. And this has gotten an awful lot of attention. I tweeted, immeasurable respect to the late Pat Summitt and the great Gino Auriemma. But with this win, Kim Mulkey has cemented her place as the greatest women's coach ever. In an era of increasing parity, she has built 2 different programs into national champions. Kim Mulkey is the GOAT. That tweet has been viewed 665,000 times. It has been retweeted 117,000 times, quote tweeted 405 times, liked 1,600 times, and bookmarked 20 times. Every single UConn and Tennessee fan that are on Twitter have found me and have just been absolutely polluting my mentions for 24 hours now. Some of it is so vile I can't read it. A lot of it is just downright funny. But I do want to provide some context because Twitter doesn't allow us the opportunity or the option for context. Twitter allows you little bite-sized morsels that people can take and run with and make of it whatever they want. But for everyone who says my tweet is prisoner of the moment, no, it's not, because it's literally a thing I considered 2 years ago whenever Kim was hired, and I asked Kramer about it. So it's something I've thought a lot about. And I do believe that as I sit here and consider it in a completely subjective way, I believe what Kim Mulkey has accomplished in her career is grander than what Gino and Pat did. Listen, there are objective metrics, right? We can objectively look and say, Gino's won 11, Pat's won 8, Kim's got 4. Gino's the best. You can look at those objective metrics and make that claim. I could also look and say Bill Russell won 10 NBA championships and Michael Jordan won 6, so Bill Russell is the greatest ever. Couldn't I? I could, if that's the objective metric that we all agree to use, okay, but we all know that's not the reality. We allow our subjective sensibilities to interject into this conversation. It's why whenever we crown an MVP in the NBA, it's not just who scored the most points, because that just becomes some objective metric, and we don't allow for the subjective nature of what we're seeing to process and analyze it. So, yes, yes, this is subjective. It is my opinion, and not everyone is going to agree with that, and I understand. But women's college basketball, for many years, was dominated by 2 programs, largely because they were the only 2 programs that really, truly were investing resources and the amount of give a damn it took to be that dominant, and good for them. It's not to be dismissive of what Gino or Pat, Gino have done in any way. They're incredible. They were the trailblazers, the trendsetters. They were the ones who carved the path for everyone that would follow. And I'm not in any way minimizing that. What I'm saying is it is harder to win a national championship now than it's ever been. And Kim's done it at not 1, but 2 places that were not women's basketball schools. So, yes, I do believe that what she has done is more impressive. I argue this all the time. LeBron James. LeBron won a couple in Miami, got one in Cleveland, got one with the Lakers. He's got 4 titles. The only one of his 4 that I truly respect is the one he got in Cleveland. He had to go assemble the best talent ever in Miami, and they still lost twice in the finals. The stupid summer camp thing they won during COVID, whatever. Yeah, you won it in a bubble, fine. Yeah, okay, take your ring, put the little star on the floor. No one actually cares about that. The one he got in Cleveland when he went back home and they beat the 73-9 Golden State Warriors, that is hella respect for that one. The others, not really. I have more respect for the one Dirk got in Dallas, the one Kawhi got in Toronto, the one Giannis got in Milwaukee than the other 3 that LeBron got. So it's not just a quantity. You want to talk about best coach in the NBA? If we're just talking championships, well, Phil's got 11. Red Auerbach won 9. Popovich has won 5. Do you want to go by that? You want to go by wins. Greg Popovich has won more games than any coach in NBA history. He's won 5 championships at a place where you couldn't really win until he got there and drafted Tim Duncan and built an amazing dynasty. And they took guys like Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili and dudes that were second-round picks and undrafted free agents. They found guys that fit what they did really well, and they became an incredible dynasty. It's all subjective. I'm not telling you have to agree with me. I'm not saying that this is completely, if Terrio were here, I'm not saying this is digital. If I could steal a nonsensical line from Terrio. I'm just saying that for me, my opinion, through my purview, to be able to win at this level at 2 different places in an era of increasing parity, the last 5 years, we have not had a repeat champion in women's college basketball. That had never happened over a 5-year span in the previous history of women's college basketball. It was largely dominated by 2 programs, UConn and Tennessee. And yeah, Stanford won, Purdue won, Texas Tech with Cheryl Swoops won. And we've seen North Carolina won one in the 90s. Like, we've seen that. We've seen one-offs. Maryland won a championship. But Kim's now proven the dynasty she built at Baylor, winning 3, wasn't a fluke. And this was the most improbable with this team. They're not even supposed to be great yet. I mean, they got 9 new players. They just went into the transfer portal. She made it work altogether. They got into the tournament. A lot of LSU fans were complaining about the disrespect that LSU was a 3 seed. I said, no, it ain't about the number next to your name. It's about your draw. The draw worked well. They had to play different styles of games. They won it because they got a great coach. And it probably ain't going to be the last one they win. And so maybe the more she wins, the more we'll continue to have this conversation, the greater case she'll build. But I'm here to tell you that what she's done in the 2 places she's done it, in the era in which she's done it, it's more impressive to me. Agree or disagree? Be a fun conversation. And a conversation, by the way, that I don't think is done at all, because she is going to win more. And the more she does, the more notches in that belt, the louder this conversation becomes. All right. It's after further review. Y'all got to go read my Twitter. That's why I had to tell Muse about this today. Have you gone and read any of my Twitter mentions yet?
No, I was up to my neck in audio today, so I did not.
Bro, you got to go read.
I did not.
You got to go read some of my Twitter mentions today.
I think you should just keep it going tonight. Just like shamelessly root for San Diego State. Point out how Tennessee's baseball team lost 2 of 3 in Baton Rouge. Just pour it on, man. Twist the knife. Man.
I don't know if they'd see it though. Like, cause I don't know I don't know that I've gained this like insane amount
following
of followers.
Yeah.
It's so funny that like they can't stop. They can't stop. Oh man. It's like I think Tennessee knows like it's over. It's been over for a long time.
Yeah.
So they're latching onto it. Bro, it's like, dude, it's like Rod Dato.
Yeah.
Rod Dato won 11 College World Series.
Yeah, 11.
11. Does anybody mention Rod Dato as the greatest coach in the history of college baseball?
No.
Nobody does. because he did it in it's not to say it wasn't great for what it is, but understand what's happened in college baseball since. Like, there were no scholarship restrictions. Nobody was trying. I mean, it's a different world.
Rod Dato won championships before there were aluminum bats.
Yes, it's crazy. It was in the 60s and the 70s. Respect for what you did, but it ain't the same. In an era when Coastal Carolina can win a championship, it just ain't the same thing. That's all. All right. It's after further review. I got a break. We'll come back. What do I have next? Oh, we've not talked baseball at all. I do have it on the rundown. All right, let me do that. Let me break. Come back. I'll give you some thoughts on the LSU baseball's series win over Tennessee. That's next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's. All right, y'all, we're headed toward Easter weekend. Y'all getting together for Easter, maybe crawfish boil. You need the crawfish. Rouse's has got them. You want to boil your own? Rouse's has live crawfish every single day at all of the Rouse's locations. So you can call to place your order. You can swing on by. They have boiled crawfish as well if you want to let somebody else do the work. And I want to remind you, they got a 48-hour sale going on right now. So it's today and tomorrow, Monday and Tuesday, a 48-hour sale going on right now while supplies last. Some great, look, if it's the 10 pounds, it's 10 pounds of crawfish plus a pound of boiled potatoes and corn for $19.99. Did you hear what I just said? Let me say this again. 10 pounds of crawfish and a pound of boiled potatoes and corn for $19.99. That's today and Tuesday only. If you've been waiting to try Rouse's crawfish, no better time than now. Rouses.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I drove myself to the ER, had heart surgery, and drove myself home 24 hours later, feeling fine. Starting running again after the procedure, I'm getting excited thinking about it. I had no pain, nothing. I felt great. And right then and there, I was like, oh my God, I'm back. I'm back. It's just amazing.
Ochsner Health. Long live you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TV to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644.
after further review with Matt Moscona. Presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I'm super happy for the program first, but this is bigger than me. I mean, I had so many goals coming into LSU, but I didn't think I was going to win a national championship within my first year at LSU. I mean, I'm just happy for this team. Coach Mulkey, I appreciate you. I can't thank you enough for giving me this opportunity to play under you and get better, and I'm just happy right now.
It's Angel Reese. You can always text us in the 225-396-4400. Stuart Anger said, Matt, before the season I put $50 on the ladies to win the Natty. Won a cool 18 hundo. Not bad. A little ding for our guy there. Give it to him. I mean, that ain't a bad way to spend $50. I mean, he should have put 100.
Hindsight, man. That darn hindsight. It'll get you every time.
Well, what are you willing to lose?
Yeah.
Like if in November you put $100 down and you never see it again, your life goes on, right? I mean, if you got it to lose, right?
There's some paychecks in between there.
Yeah. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Randall Alfrecht said, Matt, did you think Mulkey would win a championship first of the new coaches? I would love to go back and listen to that, because I'm sure we answered this question. But the answer had to be yes, right? Nobody was expecting McMahon to win it first. And Kelly certainly had an opportunity, and does still have an opportunity. But women's basketball is where there was the most opportunity, because just in basketball in general, in a transfer portal era, you can very quickly turn things around and be right there, as you've seen. So probably, I mean, if I don't remember specifically saying that, but I kind of want to go back and listen to this, because I'm sure we addressed it. Who would be the first? Because it can't be the first time it's asked. But anyway, she is. Now, will anyone win one before she wins a second at LSU? That would be very interesting. What would you if I asked you, Muse, another coach on campus or Mulkey next?
I will say, oh God, that is hard.
So, do you think baseball wins it this year?
I mean, that I was about to say, you could do it in June, but if you don't, I'm inclined to say Mulkey.
I know.
They're going to be so good next year. They have the number one recruiting class coming in.
Michaela Williams is the National Player of the Year.
Angel Reese is back. Heard of her before.
So Michaela Williams from Parkway she's the National Player of the Year is coming in. Angel Reese is back.
Flaugier back.
You're going to lose Alexis. They're going to be better next year.
That's
like on
the
paper,
scary
they're a
part,
better
right?
team next year than they were this year. So much of it just depends on the draw. Anyway, speaking of baseball, Tiger baseball did take 2 out of 3. Isn't it wild that we're here an hour and 23 minutes into the show? It's like, oh yeah, let's spend a second talking about baseball, and we will get back obviously to the baseball Tigers. Today is so much just about celebrating the national champions. And I was thinking about this earlier. I started doing sports radio in 2007, so of course the football team won it in 2007. The baseball team won in 2009. There were the women's Final Fours mixed in. 2011, LSU played for and lost the football national title, as we know. But unless if there's something else I'm missing, the 2019 football title, and then now this women's basketball, it's the 4th time since I've been doing sports radio that we've talked about a team national championship. So these days are rare. These days are rare when you come on the day after LSU's won a team national title. So, of course, it's going to garner all of the attention. And tomorrow we'll get closer to normal. But I did want to give a few takeaways from the LSU baseball series. They take 2 out of 3 from Tennessee, so 3 weekends in conference play. LSU's won 2 out of 3 all 3 weekends, so 6-3 through 3 weekends. You're pacing exactly as you should. I think sometimes in our mind we look at Tennessee a year ago going 25-5, and you think, oh, how could they lose a game? Well, they've lost. They played 3 top 15 teams, 2 top 10 opponents on the weekends. And to have won all of these series is certainly incredibly impressive. And you get a great opportunity going up to Columbia, South Carolina this week. And the schedule does lighten up as it goes on. Maybe before the season we would have looked at trips to Ole Miss and Mississippi State and thought a certain way that certainly don't look daunting anymore. On the flip side of it, Kentucky coming in all of a sudden looks like that's going to be an awful lot of fun to watch that. But We talked on Friday a lot about the Thursday game, all of the drama associated. Skeens' phenomenal day, the Gavin Dugas homer, the LSU rally, the Jordan Thompson 3-run double. What a great day it was for LSU to get that win. They came back on Friday and won the series. I mean, Maui Ahuna homered in the first off of Ty Floyd. LSU was down, and what did they do? They came right back and took the lead with 3 runs in the bottom of the first. We had 4 doubles in the first inning. Bo and I were packing up at Hogs for the Cause, so I'm like talking to people, keep an eye on the game a little bit, listening and watching, listening on the way home. But 4 doubles in the first inning. One of them was it Pearson who hit the pop up. Pearson hit a pop up on the infield, and nobody caught it. It bounced right off the mound. I mean, went sky high. But sometimes you get those breaks. So immediately LSU's up 3-1. Floyd gives up another solo homer in the second. Then he gives up a 2-run homer in the fourth to Zane Denton. And all of a sudden you're down 4-3. But LSU did what they always do. They came right back. Brady Neal, solo shot. Gavin Dugas, solo shot. Back-to-back, and LSU's on top again. They'd add another one in the sixth. And LSU would win the game and win the series 6-4. The hat tip to Ty Floyd. I mean, we keep saying Ty Floyd is becoming. Tell me if this makes sense. Ty Floyd reminds me so much of Ryan Eads in this respect. I'm not saying stylistically. Ryan Eads was a guy who became a first-round pick. I think he might have been in the compensatory round, but I think he was a first-rounder, first or early second round. He was second, yeah, so early second round. And Eads just could never have a clean inning. He was a great talent. I mean, that 2012 rotation that had Gausman, Eads, Nola. Yeah, I mean, Gausman and Nola obviously were high first-round picks, and Eads was a second-rounder. But amazing arm talent, but he could just never have a clean inning. He'd walk a guy, he'd hit a guy, he'd get the first 2 outs, and then he'd load the bases, but he would find a way to wiggle out of it. Floyd just reminds me so much of that. The arm talent is undeniable, and he works himself into and out of trouble a lot, but he battled through and gave you 5 innings through 84 pitches. Gave up the 4 runs, as we mentioned, but good enough to get the win as the offense backed him up. The story, though, on Friday, Shores came in and gave you 2 innings, but then we saw Griffin Herring. And Griffin Herring was magnificent. He pitched the 8th and the 9th. He struck out 4. He actually had to get a 4th out in the 9th inning because he had a strikeout and then an error at first base on the throwdown. But to essentially face 1 over the minimum only because of that error on a strikeout was incredible. He was untouchable from the left side. A lot of people have asked if Griffin Herring should solidify himself as the closer. I don't love that because right now there's a couple of things. Number one, if you think about your left-handed relievers, Nate Ackenhausen has the hamstring injury. I just don't know his status. And Riley Cooper, we objectively have to say he's not been very good. He's been very hittable this year. So Griffin Herring is your best left-handed arm. Situationally, there's probably going to be a time in the first 2 games of the weekend or at some point where you need a left-hander out of the bullpen. I'm not sure that I want to just save Griffin Herring for the possibility that you need him to get the last 3 outs of the game. So if he does continue at this pace, he's your best left-handed option on the bullpen. I need him in that role. That's one. But he was fantastic. The other thing coming out of the weekend that most everybody's going to talk about clearly is Thatcher Hurd. Jay Johnson, after the game on Sunday, was asked what went wrong for Thatcher Hurd, who did not record an out before exiting in the first inning.
I mean, Ahuna's a good hitter, and he got to that 3-2 spot yesterday, and he hit a fastball out. And so we tried to go change up, and he threw a pretty darn good pitch. And I'm not saying it was a ball or a strike, but he threw a pretty good pitch. So the walk there hurts. And then Dreiling is a really good player. I think he got a swing, and then Moore got a swing. And then it just, when it went bad, we got to get him to just keep it under control. I was talking to Ben McDonald about that today, and that's something he learned in the major leagues is like, instead of giving up 4, it's a learned skill to only give up 1 right there. And he certainly has the stuff to do it. He'll probably pitch on Tuesday in some capacity. He only threw 21 or 22 pitches, and we need to get him back out there because if we're going to accomplish the things that we want to as this team, then he's got to be a part of this in a big way.
It's interesting Jay said that because if you remember, he said the exact same thing before the season started. So if we're going to accomplish things, Thatcher Hurd's going to pitch in those moments, in those big moments. It might have been the Texas week, actually, that I think that he said that. But he said essentially the same thing. And I know a lot of people, a lot of fans right now are ready to give up on Thatcher Hurd. I tend to agree with Jay. In that the thing about Thatcher Hurd is the arm talent is undeniable. This guy had a sub-2 ERA last year, more than a strikeout per inning pitched, and it's not like he was pitching against high schoolers. He was at UCLA. He had a back injury. It cost him a lot of his offseason. I wonder how sharp he is. That I don't know. Maybe it's a mental thing. He doesn't trust his stuff. I don't know. I don't have the answers. This is something only Thatcher Hurd or the coaches could candidly answer. But I also recognize that you can't keep running him out there on Sunday if he can't get an out or if he's not going to make it through 2 innings. Like, you've got to have someone reliable there. So you heard Jay say there that he's going to throw Thatcher on Tuesday. He threw 22 pitches. He didn't record an out. And look, it was bad. It got worse when the pop-up on the infield happened and Gavin Dugas misplayed it. And so then you had the ground ball and the error, and it just, things snowballed. He walked a couple. Cooper comes in and walks in a run. I mean, it snowballed on them in the first inning. And when he did miss, he missed over the plate, with a lot of the plate, and they crushed him. My thought is, you throw Hurd on Tuesday to get him back out there, and then you leave Sunday this week, TBD. And the most obvious answer, I think, would be Chase Shores back in the Sunday role if you make a change. But similar to with Griffin Herring, if Shores, Edwards is my stopper, right? He's the guy that everybody believes right now is first or best out of the bullpen. Sticky spot, go get Garrett Edwards. And he's rewarded that trust. But Chase Shores is maybe like a 1A, 1B in that situation. So if on Friday or if on Thursday of this week, you're in Columbia and Paul Skeens gives you 7 innings, yes, you can go get Garrett Edwards, but what if they say, I'm going to go get Chase Shores, and I want Chase Shores to give me 6 outs? I'm not saving Chase Shores for Sunday when I have a chance to win today and I need it. So I don't know what they're going to do this week. If they keep Hurd in that Sunday spot, maybe he just pitches an inning on Tuesday and they keep him on Sunday, or if they leave it TBD, or they have someone else in mind that they want to run out there. I mean, you got guys who have started. I mean, you can laugh, but I mean, Blake Money has started, Sammy Dutton started. I mean, you got guys that have started games in the SEC. I mean, you could say, go see if you can just get me 3 or 6 outs just to start the ball game, pitch backwards a bit. But they're in a little bit of a quandary because Jay's right. They need Thatcher Hurd to be the guy they brought him here to be. We keep waiting to see it, and it looked like we saw it against Texas. He was awesome against Texas. We keep waiting for that reemergence, and it just hasn't happened so far in conference play. So we'll see what they elect to do this week on the road in Columbia, South Carolina. So LSU takes the series over Tennessee. 3 series wins, and now a big one in Columbia this weekend. All right, it's After Further Review. I'm brought to you by Mold Zero USA, mold-0usa.com. If you have mold, call Mold Zero. If you have mold, you want to save thousands, call Mold Zero. If you have mold, don't cut sheetrock, don't rip out carpet, don't think that you got to take everything out of your house. Don't panic. Call Mold Zero. Mold-0usa.com. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, really servicing all of all of South Louisiana. They'll come in, they'll spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. They will literally save you thousands as compared to other remediation companies. You can trust Jim Woodworth. He's done amazing remediation work from disaster recovery after 9/11, the BP oil spill. He's got a real feel for this. He's an airman from the Air Force. So a great history and a great guy that I'm proud to endorse. It's Mold Zero. Mold-0usa.com. Mold-0usa.com. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. Keep them coming. Calls, texts, emails, tweets, lots of ways you get involved. We're spending the majority of the day today, of course, talking about the LSU women's basketball team winning the program's first national title. We've taken a few deviations here. I'll talk about an LSU kicker commitment and just there to talk a little LSU baseball. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. You can book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. We'll knock out a break, come back, get some more of your reaction. Let's hear more from today's celebration at the Maravich Center. In case you missed it, I was there, was able to give you a little bit of a reaction, a first a first-person perspective from it today, and we'll roll along here. Stick around with us here on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Y'all, weather's awesome outside. Spring has sprung. What a weekend it was. It was gorgeous this weekend. Sunny and beautiful. This is the time to get in the garden and just plant something, y'all. You want to plant that vegetable garden? They got Johnny Naylor seeds. If you're a gardener, if you're a green thumb, you know about Johnny Naylor seeds. Clegg's has them. Walk into any of the Clegg's locations. Walk to that back wall, and you see they have like the cork board with them all on the tab, so you can pick out whichever it is that you're trying to plant. They got them at Clegg's Nursery. Any of the 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. I want to remind you, of course, always say about the Spartan Mosquito Eradicator, okay? Mosquitoes and gnats during the spring, all the bugs start to come back. Clegg's can help with that as well, affordably, so make sure you go check them out. If you're not sure what to ask for, just ask someone. Say, hey, what's the mosquito thing that Moscona always talks about? It's the Spartan Mosquito Eradicator. It's at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on select new 2022 Ford F-150 trucks. $10,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TB to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN. After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
We just made history. Like, we going into history books, you know. It just means a lot, and I'm excited. Baton Rouge, I know Baton Rouge lit right now. I can't wait to get back. We're gonna have a parade, whatever. You know, we in the history books. That's all I gotta say.
She is right. They are absolutely going to have a parade Wednesday. to honor the national champions. 6:30, the parade will run through the LSU campus. I've not yet seen a route yet for the parade, but as we were told today, the parade will run through the campus, and then it'll culminate with at 6:30. It will culminate at the PMAC at 7 with a formal ceremony. Today was a welcome home ceremony. There were, 2,000 fans there, at least 2,000 fans that were there. But a very cool thing to be a part of, a very cool thing to see today. Of course, Jasmine Carson was just a massive part of that with her 7 for 7 first half from threes. LSU just went unconscious and just could not miss. A great day offensively for the Tigers as they put up a record 102 points in the national championship game. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. Oh, by the way, real quick, shout out to Matthew Conger. He's the second one now who's sent proof of a preseason bet on the LSU women to win the national championship. He said this to me, made a $50 bet. This was on November the 9th at 10:25 a.m. Central Time. He sent me a screen grab of the bet at plus 5,000. So his $50 wager won him $2,550, $2,550. Congrats, man. Congrats. Just make sure you make that bet on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Let's see. I want to talk about Hendon Hooker here just a quick second. Maybe if you could see the future. You went to the Williamson Eye Center? Yeah. Okay. I was more wondering if I was going to get a ding or a buzzer there on it. Williamson Eye Center. You can see the future when you call the Williamson Eye Center. Maybe not, but you will see 2020. I had my LASIK it was September the 11th, 2018. So I'm coming up on my 5-year anniversary of having LASIK over at the Williamson Eye Center. Absolutely incredible. Change your life, man. Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com for 70 years. Now 3 generations of Williamsons over at the Williamson Eye Center. If you want to live your life without contacts or glasses, they can help. The Williamson Eye Center. Locations all over Greater Baton Rouge area, including the newest location in the River Parishes down in Lutcher. So check them out at WilliamsonEye.com. Book that free consultation, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. Ian Rappaport tweeted Monday morning, Tennessee quarterback. This is Saints fans rejoicing. Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker is flying today for a visit to the Saints tomorrow. Coming off a clean ACL tear, Hooker's prospects for the 2023 season are positive. New Orleans picks 29th. So, all right, what say you, Saints fans? I'm imagining that many of you are going to be thrilled with this news because I want to remind you that, look, teams can talk to any prospect at Pro Day, at the Combine, Senior Bowl, any of that sort of stuff. But you can only host 30 prospects in the pre-draft experience. So if you're the Saints, you can only bring 30 players to New Orleans. Fly them in, wine them, dine them, all that sort of stuff. So the fact that the Saints have bringing in Hendon Hooker and are going to have him at the facility on Tuesday tells you one of two things. Either they are seriously considering drafting Hendon Hooker, or this is one hell of a smokescreen. It's one or the other. And look, I know a lot of times, and I say this, sometimes teams go through the pre-draft process with a prospect just to have an updated scouting report. And that's true. That happens a lot. You'll talk to guys because you want to have a scouting report on them. It happens in season as well with free agents. You work them out just so you have an updated file on a player. If you have an injury or you have a need, you have something up to date. So you can say, hey, what did we think about that guy? Instead of, oh, I remember him. I think he ran a... No, like, look, get his file. Here it is. Here's what we saw. Here's what we liked. You have an updated file on the player. So that's true. You could certainly have a file on Hendon Hooker, but you saw him at the Senior Bowl. You can see him at his pro day. You see him at Combine. You can see him a lot of different places where you can update that file without using one of your 30 visits to bring him to New Orleans. So that tells me they're serious. And I have no idea. Quarterbacks are valued. There was that, I think it was Tannenbaum, wasn't it, last week, who did a mock draft, and he had Hendon Hooker going in the top 5 or something like that. So could you see a scenario because quarterbacks are so valued where somebody like Hendon Hooker races up a draft board? Yeah. But I'll also remind you last year at this time, Malik Willis was mocked in everybody's mock drafts as a first-round pick, and he fell all the way to round 3. So sometimes there is that degree, that element of surprise in a draft where maybe a prospect does fall. Maybe Hooker's age, the knee injury, all that does force teams to take him off their draft board. Maybe he does free fall a little bit. Maybe there is an opportunity for the Saints in the middle round to take Hendon Hooker. Or maybe he's the 5th pick of the draft. I don't know. But it's one of the things that makes the draft really intriguing. What I will tell you about Hendon Hooker, and I will repeat, is as a player, I love Hendon Hooker. I love his size. I love his leadership. I love the intelligence. I love the moxie. I love the accuracy on the deep ball. I love all of it. I would be thrilled with the Saints taking Hendon Hooker. The thing, though, that complicates it is Derek Carr's contract. And I get how they structured it. They can get out of it after year 2. The thing that has to be said about Hendon Hooker, though, is he's coming off an injury and his age. If you draft Hendon Hooker and he sits for a couple of seasons and let's say plays year 3, well, you're not fully maximizing having a rookie quarterback or a quarterback on a rookie contract is what I should say, because you've got so much money invested in Derek Carr. The benefit of having a rookie a player on a quarterback on a rookie contract is it's team friendly, cap friendly, so you can spend money elsewhere, and you may not get the luxury of that. So I would love it if they call Hendon Hooker's name. He's a fantastic player, and I would love to see the Saints make that type of commitment into a young quarterback, which they just seldom ever make. They haven't drafted a quarterback in the first round since Archie Manning, the only time in franchise history. So if Hendon Hooker's the one that's available and you take him with one of your first 2 picks, I'd be pumped for it. All right, it is after further review. TV ratings are in for LSU, Iowa. Oh, my goodness. I got a break. We'll come back. I'll share that with you next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Renaissance Hotel, right there on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. Remember Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. I talk about it a lot. Renaissance is beautiful. Every Renaissance property is it is unique, custom to that specific market. Great place. So many people know about the Renaissance. They stay booked. But 2 things that you got to know. Number 1, of course, events. From board meetings to events for 500 people that the Renaissance can host you, and it's a gorgeous place and wonderful right there on Bluebonnet, access to I-10. But remember also, Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel. Got to introduce so many of you to Tallulah for our game watch party back a few weeks ago. Tallulah is a great spot. Chef Jason Hebert has done an awesome job with the menu. This is upscale, casual dining. It's a great spot for a business lunch during the day, or if you want an elegant dinner at night with a fun area at the terrace and the bar. Check out Tallulah if you haven't yet. Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. Our winning women's basketball Tigers returned back to Baton Rouge today with plenty of fanfare after winning a national title Sunday for the first time in program history. Now the week of celebration will continue with a parade scheduled for Wednesday. The party will continue in the PMAC later that evening. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Jeep Gladiators and $8,000 off new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokees. All new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further. like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TB to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
It was a record-breaking audience for LSU and Iowa. The most viewed NCAA Division I women's college basketball game on record across all networks. 9.9 million viewers on average, with a peak of 12.6 million. A truly, truly landmark day for the sport of women's college basketball. And LSU was a part of it. All right, Muso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Start with a couple reports from Ian Rappaport regarding the NFL. Number one on the list, linebacker Deion Jones set to visit the New York Giants, for what it's worth, on Monday, today. That was Ian Rappaport earlier today. Of course, we know Debo spent his first 6 seasons of his career with Atlanta, was traded to Cleveland last October, was on injured reserve with the Browns, came off of it, and ended up appearing in 11 games. 5 of those starts totaled 44 tackles, 6 TFLs on the year in 2022. We'll see what the future holds for this the former second-round pick out of LSU. Ian Rappaport followed that up with some more news about a former Tiger, that being defensive tackle Al Woods, whose sources have confirmed a rap sheet, will be visiting the Cleveland Browns and the New York Jets this week. Of course, Al Woods, man, still going in the NFL. He's proved to be very durable, very, very valuable, although the Seahawks did cut ties with him earlier this offseason. Major League Baseball, Jake Fraley continues his hot start to the 2023 campaign. 1 for 3 in yesterday's victory over the Pirates with a double. Also drew a walk. Fraley hitting .444 early on in the season. While Fraley is streaking, Alex Bregman is still looking for his first hit of the season in 2023. 0 for 4 yesterday in the loss to the Chicago White Sox. Did draw a 1, but how about a hat trick? 3 punch-outs for Bregman. Only a 111 OBP on the year. And again, still looking for that first hit. And Alex Lang, one shutout inning of relief, did allow a hit. Tigers lost 5-1 to the Rays. That's Tigers in the pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. That's lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge has gone to get engaged for more than 30 years. Gentlemen, if you're thinking of buying that ring, Lee Michaels has the highest quality diamonds at the best prices. And most importantly, you'll always get the Lee Michaels experience, no matter your budget. Don't think, I got to go and spend this to get great service. Not at Lee Michaels. Everyone gets the Lee Michaels experience. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her with a gift in the red box. lmfj.com. All right, y'all. It is After Further Review. Wrapping up hour number 2. Been a really good show so far. 1 hour to go. Thanks for hanging out with us on Championship Monday. The LSU women are national champs, and we're recapping it all day today with another hour to go. We'll let you hear from Kim Mulkey from the national championship celebration earlier today.
AFR.
Hey, I want to remind you about Traction. Remember, next week, most kiddos are going to be off for Easter. So Traction is helping parents who need something to do with their kids. How about do something great for your kids? Traction has their Easter camps. So you go to tractionsports.com, tractionsports.com. Right when you pull it up, tap Louisiana, because there's a Louisiana and Mississippi Traction. And you'll scroll down and you'll see they've got the Easter baseball camp and the Easter speed camp. So whichever one is relevant. The baseball camp is for ages 5 to 10. Of course, all of the great trainers, all of the great baseball coaches like former Tiger great Brad Cressy are out there working on fundamental training, position instruction. There'll be team games as well. You can figure out that there's full day, half day options. And then the Easter speed camp is there as well for all athletes, any sport. If you're looking for something for your kiddos to do during Easter week when they're out of school, Traction can help. Tractionsports.com, tractionsports.com. Traction, where champions are made.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TV to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
I'm Christine Lisi. The spotlight is on Houston tonight for the men's national championship game between Connecticut and San Diego State. UConn is seeking a 5th national title since 1999. Warriors forward Andrew Wiggins expected to return to the team early this week, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. He's missed 22 games attending to a family matter. Wiggins will have Golden State defensively, but his return is not a cure-all for the defending champs, points out ESPN's Kendrick Perkins.
Andrew Wiggins has been out an extended period of time. Yep. He's coming back. This is the playoffs already. And it's not no guarantee that the Golden State Warriors are getting into the postseason. So with him coming back, you have to worry about his load management as far as his workload. You have to worry about, is his win going to be right? We can't expect him to come back on elite status.
Warriors are in a 4-way tie in the loss column for the last 2 guaranteed playoff spots in the West. Agent for former Georgia defensive lineman Jalen Carter told ESPN's Adam Schefter Carter's only visiting with teams with picks in the top 10 in the draft.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. The LSU ladies, for the first time in program history, are national champs. They beat Iowa 102-85. An historic day for so many reasons. Kim Mulkey becomes the first ever women's basketball coach to win a national championship at 2 different places. She is now 3rd on the all-time list of national champions with her 4th national title. Of course, the 3 prior that she won at Baylor. The 102 points that LSU scored, the most ever in a championship game. And if you missed it at the end of hour number 2, for those of you maybe just knocking off of work and jumping aboard with us here, it was a record-setting day for another reason. The LSU-Iowa national championship game was the most viewed women's college basketball game ever on all networks. The most viewed women's college basketball game ever. 9.9 million people. It peaked at 12.6 million. It is the most viewed college event ever on ESPN Plus. So keep in context here. More people watched the LSU-Iowa game on ESPN Plus than watched the men's football national championship, the college football playoff championship on ESPN Plus. Now, there were other options. There are companion shows. There's the ESPN broadcast. You could watch the coaches, the film room, all the different options that you have for the broadcast. But understand that this is up 103% from last year. It's a stunning figure to see 9.9 million viewers on average for a women's basketball game. But it had everything. It had the star power of Caitlin Clark coming off the upset of South Carolina. It had LSU with Angel Reese, with, of course, Kim Mulkey. The crossover nature of stars like Reese and like Flau'jae, who has a great following because she's a viral rapper as well. So you had a lot of crossover from people who weren't just basketball fans or just sports fans or just women's basketball fans, but people who were intrigued with this game for a lot of other reasons. And then, of course, the game delivered. You had a tremendous first half where LSU went absolutely bonkers shooting the basketball. And then in the second half, Iowa tried to storm back in the 17-point deficit, got down within 8. And, of course, LSU wouldn't let him get any closer. But a great day all around, an historic day not only for LSU, for Kim Mulkey, but for women's basketball. And LSU was a part of it, which is really fantastic. Today, the LSU women's basketball team flew home. They left Dallas around 10 a.m., and they landed in Baton Rouge. They had a police escort from the airport to the Maravich Center where they got off of the bus and went straight into the locker room. And at 12:30, several thousand LSU fans were able to greet them. Dan Bournet served as the master of ceremonies. The Bengal Brass Band was there as well. And one by one, the players were introduced on stage, and Kim Mulkey spoke. Here is what Kim Mulkey had to say when she thanked the fans earlier today.
I want to thank you because you cannot imagine the value you have as fans, alumni, donors. I'm going to use Kateri Poole as an example. Kateri Poole came here last year, and she was playing for Ohio State University. They beat us. Kateri Poole gets in the transfer portal. We pick up the phone, and she goes, I've never seen anything in all of my life like the LSU fans in that PMAC. We get Kateri Poole.
That was a great story she told. But it's also just very exemplary of how this entire roster, how this team was put together. When Kim Mulkey was hired, of course, can you play her bite from the introductory press conference again? This is the soundbite that everybody remembers that she said a little less than 2 years ago when she was hired.
I want you to see those banners behind you right there. Final Four, Final Four, Final Four, Final Four. Nowhere on there does it say national champion. That's what I came here to do.
That's what she did. And today, in that same building, Kim Mulkey referenced that quote, now with a new banner awaiting.
Timing is everything in our lives. It was time for me to come home. And as I stood at the podium facing that way, I ask everybody, and if you will right now, because these players were not here, I would like for everybody to look at those Final Four banners I pointed to. 2004, Final Four. 2005, Final Four. 2006, Final Four. 2007, Final Four. 2008, Final Four. Do you understand how hard it is to do that? And I was bold enough and confident enough to say that's not what I came home to do. I came home to put a championship banner up there.
And she's done it now in less than 2 years. It's incredible to think how quickly this turnaround was. But it was I don't want to be cliche and say it was a perfect storm of sorts. But in many respects, the way that they were able to pull this together, Kim Mulkey being an incredible coach, the staff she assembled, the ability to bring in players via the transfer portal. And maybe the thing that's the most obvious right now is the fact that they're just starting. I mean, that's probably the part that's the most exciting about this all is this feels very premature. I'm not standing here alone saying this because we all felt that Kim Mulkey was going to win a championship. It's akin to when I think like when Alabama hired Nick Saban, we all knew there was an inevitability there. You know, when Urban Meyer went to Ohio State, we kind of knew there was an inevitability, like it was going to happen. He's going to win one there. Like we all knew Kim when they hired her, it was going to happen, but I don't think anybody thought it was going to happen this quickly. And now you look forward with Michaela Williams, the National High School Player of the Year, being committed, the #1 class in the country coming in. Angel Reese coming back next year. reason to believe it's only just getting started now with Kim Mulkey at LSU. Look, after the game on Sunday, she talked about that. I mean, she was asked, about the future and how big that this program under her leadership and what they have looking forward can grow.
Well, it doesn't get any bigger than this. We grew it, and I say this, you know this, Michael, y'all have been to the games. We grew this last year. And it was kind of scary because I kept trying to tame that monster. I said, we may be feeding this monster too early. But the crowds just kept getting bigger and bigger. And the student section, guys, is off the charts at LSU. And we're national champions in year 2. And we're not all seniors. We lose 4 outstanding seniors. But the core of your group are young and underclass, and you hope they stay. Lord knows every time you turn around, you got to deal with people in the transfer portal, but you signed the #1 recruiting class in the country. And that was before we won a national championship. We haven't even won an SEC championship. We're working. And when they come to visit LSU, I can't describe it to you. People love winners at LSU, fans off the charts. I can tell you, I don't want one negative thing written if we don't win a national championship next year, okay? Telling y'all in advance. They're hard to do.
It's funny. When I was listening to her say that, and she said, we're feeding the beast too fast. Kim did a weekly interview all season long with Hester and T-Bob on Off the Bench in the morning, and a lot of times I would hear that, and as the superlatives grew, if you think back to how this season started, they were on an incredible scoring pace to start the season. Do you remember? I'm looking at it here now. They played a couple of exhibitions, but they opened the season, opened the regular season against Bellarmine. They scored 125. Then they scored 111 against Mississippi Valley, 107 against Western Carolina, 101 against Houston Christian, 100 against Northwestern State. It was an insane start to this season offensively. And then they set the record for consecutive wins. And then they matched the all-time record for the regular season, the number of SEC wins. And, all of these superlatives kept happening, and Kim kept saying, we've done a lot. We haven't won anything yet. She kept, that was her repeated line. We haven't won anything yet. We've won games, we've scored points, but how good are we? We haven't won anything yet, over and over again. And, of course, they lost to South Carolina and didn't win the SEC. And they went to the SEC tournament and lost to Tennessee, so they didn't win the SEC tournament. We can't say it anymore. They've won the national championship. That standard is there. That notch is in the belt. That banner is going to hang from the rafters as the first LSU basketball team to win a national championship. On the back, Kim Mulkey and this great team. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us here. I love telling you about South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. I am loving driving my Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport. So I drove the Atlas for the last 3 years, 3-row, 7-seater family SUV. Volkswagen has a Cross Sport, which takes out the third row, little sleeker design on the back. And really what I realized, I didn't need the third row. We have Drew, but even still, my third row would just always be folded down, have that for storage. What I've found now is, even without the third row, I still have plenty of space in the back of the Cross Sport. Love all the features, the panoramic sunroof, digital everything on the display on the dash, all the power, everything. I mean, the style, the feel, the performance of luxury without the cost. That's what you get at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland or SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, we have not, Muse, I want to get a poll. Let me break. I want to get a poll question update. We'll do that when we come back. We're asking about Kim Mulkey's legacy. If you're just joining us, I pissed off every single Tennessee and UConn fan that's on Twitter.com when I gave bouquets to Pat Summitt and to Gino Auriemma, but said with this win, I believe Kim Mulkey is the greatest women's basketball coach ever. And the only retort has been, well, they've got more championships, which they do. And Bill Russell has more championships than Michael Jordan, but no one's saying that Bill Russell is the greatest player ever. That's an honor that's a banner Michael Jordan carries. So it's the context surrounding it. Anyway, so I'm assuming that not many people are going to agree with me, but we'll get a Twitter poll update when we come back. Also, by the way, LSU football was back on the practice field Saturday. I want to give you a practice report And Mike Denbrock spoke to the media, LSU offensive coordinator. So a couple of thoughts from there as well. We're celebrating the Natty today, and glad you're hanging out with us here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air. Okay, it is 88 degrees right now. 88. Muse, are you pumped just because that means that you're not going to have any more icebox games? Is that why?
I just love the heat.
Oh, yeah, me too. I do too. Give me hot over cold any day. But when it's 100 degrees and your AC goes out, that stinks. So call River City's 1 Hour Air. Preseason AC tune-up. Think of this as standard maintenance that's going to extend the life of your unit. Same as you'd have an oil change for your car. You got to have this done. It's your preseason AC tune-up. Mention the Moscona special. They'll knock $25 off the price at River City's 1 Hour Air. If you're part of their membership club, their maintenance club, this service is complimentary. So it's complimentary for me because Eric and I are part of the maintenance club at River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. They're all over, more than double the amount of 5-star reviews of the next closest competitor. It's River City's 1 Hour Air, 752-0001.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on select new 2022 Ford F-150 trucks. $10,000 off plus 0% financing. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TD to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Johnson got it. She's on the run. We'll get it right wing. Carson, 3 more. Yes!
What?
Oh, my
What?
goodness!
What?
Desmond
Let's
Carson! 49-36 at the 4-minute mark.
For all of you who have asked, I am suspending all shut up color guy references because it's the Natty and you can do whatever you want. All right? At least I'm sticking to it, Muse. They're so good. So the eruptions are so good. All right, give me a poll update.
Sure thing. So today's Citizens Bank poll question of the day, you can, of course, vote at 1045 ESPN on Twitter. Is Kim Mulkey the greatest women's basketball coach of all time? 64.3% say yes.
I love our audience.
Homers, all of you, and it's beautiful.
All of them are homers. What do you say?
I say no. Not yet is really what I say.
Okay, so then what could possibly be different that would get
more wins, more championships. I hear what you're saying with the parity and whatnot, and I agree with that. I just think it's not just championships, but wins factor into that too. And she's going to get there. She's on the Mount Rushmore for sure.
It is very hard to change a long-standing perception. And in women's college basketball, it was always Pat Summitt. And then Gino Auriemma came along, and he's won 11 championships. And, of course, UConn had their 111-game win streak. And it is in no way diminishing what they have done. The point for those that missed it, I'll make again. And I talked about this at the beginning of Hour 2. So if you're watching on YouTube and you want to scroll back and see the full segment there, you can. Or if you're listening on demand, you can check out Hour 2, at the start of Hour 2. The point that I made, as a just sort of summarize, is it's quality over quantity, meaning for roughly 2 decades, there were 2 teams that were actually, I don't want to say trying, but that were actually investing the resources to be dominant in women's college basketball. And those were the 2 teams that won all of the championships. With an occasional Cheryl Swoops at Texas Tech would pop up in there. North Carolina. A lot of people pointed out Carolyn Peck, right, won a championship at Purdue in her second year in the early 90s. An occasional one of them, but largely it was a sport dominated by 2 programs. It is just, there are more programs, more schools investing into women's college basketball. As I pointed out, the last 5 champions, there has not been a repeat champion, and UConn isn't one of those 5. So, I'm looking at Kim Mulkey inheriting a team that won 9 games and in 2 years has won a national championship at a place that never won one. She's now done something that that Pat and Gino never did, which is win a championship at 2 different places in an era of increased parity. I'll keep going back to it, but it's Michael won 6, Bill Russell won 10. Who do we consider the greatest? It's not always just the number. And I gave you the LeBron. LeBron's won 4 championships. There's one of his 4 that I look at and go, that was damn impressive. And it was the one that they got in Cleveland when they beat the 73-9 Warriors. I'll look at Kim building up 2 programs that were not college basketball schools or women's college basketball schools, creating a dynasty at Baylor, and now coming to LSU, and in year 2, after inheriting a 9-win team, has won a national championship. I'll take that. I'm not saying she's the most accomplished. Clearly, she's not. Gino's won 11. Pat's won 8. I get it. She's not the most accomplished. But I will take her resume, what she's done at this point, and I don't think she's done either. All right, it's after further review. Brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. I think I'm going to be over there on Friday morning demoing one of their new body contouring devices. And I'm pretty excited about it because this is the latest and greatest in body contouring. We've talked about Ultra Shape and VeloShape and a lot of stuff over the years. They're just continuing to build upon all of the great products and services that they offer at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Evolve X Body Contouring is the newest, And honestly, it's got a hands-free design that's programmable, so you don't even need a patient-physician face-to-face contact during the process. They could set it and walk out of the room, and you could be alone. So I'm excited to demo it and probably do that this week. But all this month, all throughout April, they're having introductory special pricing. It's not going to last. They're just doing it because they're just introducing the technology. So if you're interested, if you want to learn more, you can schedule a consultation to learn more at theantiagingclinics.com. Bluebonnet, Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey, and Lafayette online, theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. Mike Denbrock met with reporters on Saturday after LSU practiced over on the Ponderosa. Had a little controlled scrimmage there as well, which was not available to the media, by the way. Some of the takeaways from practice this weekend, continuing to watch Harold Perkins work at inside linebacker. Omar Spates is turning a lot of heads as well. He's the linebacker that they brought in from Oregon State. And your prototypical big NFL inside linebacker, they're creating a really, really sharp tandem. The transfers are working at the jack position right now with Braden Swinson and Ovie Ogofu from Texas. I think it's also been interesting watching some of the rotations on the offensive line, notably, of course, Marlon Martinez still working at starting center with Charles Turner out, and you're very limited at running back, where it's essentially Noah Kane, the freshman Trey Holly, and then a lot of walk-ons working right there. But as far as the secondary, and that's one of the spots that we talked about a lot that I was interested in, specifically cornerback, the reports that I keep hearing, they love Javen Toviano, who's the freshman, and they have moved him a lot this spring. He has worked at nickel, he has worked on the outside, and he has worked at safety. So they have this luxury now of trying to see where he's going to fit in this defense, but they really like him a lot. My understanding is that the cornerbacks that ran with the first team were LaTerrence Welch and Zay Alexander. Denver Harris is practicing, and some of the feedback I'm getting on Denver Harris right now is super athletic, but you can tell he's played a lot of man coverage his whole life. He's got to learn how to play zone and play in these defensive concepts. But that's why spring is great for a transfer coming in. You know, the athleticism, all the physical characteristics are there. It's becoming comfortable in the defense. So that's a great thing about spring right now. And of course, Deuce Chestnut, J.K. Johnson from Syracuse and Ohio State respectively are out, and those may well end up being your game one starting outside cornerbacks against Florida State, but a lot of time before they figure all of that out. But Mike Denbrock met with reporters, and it was an opportunity to hear from Mike Denbrock about a lot of things offensively, and namely the quarterback. And he was asked about Jaden Daniels, who's back now for a fifth season in college ball, and Jaden Daniels taking the next step in his progression.
You know, Jaden's ability to push the ball down the field consistently, I think, is something that we've worked very hard on this spring. He's worked on it over the winter. He's worked on it even when he's been away from here. So we want to be a threat in the vertical passing game. And, you know, that takes some aggressiveness at the quarterback position. And we want him to step into that role and not be afraid to kind of let it fly. So we've encouraged him to do that. He's done an unbelievable job here early in the spring, about halfway through, and really, really like the progress that we've made there. And obviously we've got some dynamic guys that can go get it on the outside. So that hopefully bodes well for us being a little bit more explosive offensively. That's going to be a big key for us.
That's no secret. It was a big point of contention and frustration for fans a lot of last year was maybe Jaden being a little gun-shy, not one to push the ball downfield, put it in harm's way. He kept the turnovers way, way down, but at times you did see the explosiveness in the passing game. The Florida game certainly comes to mind. The second half against Auburn, there were those moments. Certainly did it in the first half against Georgia in the SEC championship game before the injury, and then we saw Nussmeier do it in the second half as well. But how do you do that? How do you coach aggressiveness into a quarterback?
I'll be honest with you. I think more than anything, it's a mindset that you have to drill just like you drill any other mindset. So if you're going to be a team that is a power team and you don't run power very much in practice, then it's hard to make it come out as a play caller when it's time to call it. And I don't know that I scripted it enough in practices and things like so. That's been the biggest adjustment. It's something that you have to make yourself do, quite frankly. It's a lot easier to call another hitch route knowing that it's going to be complete than it is to take a shot down the field. But as a coach, we've got to be willing to do that, and we've got to be able to practice those things every day in practice and force the ball down the field and just develop that mentality of that's how we're going to play the game.
We're certainly going to have the receivers to go get it. A lot of the feedback that I'm hearing is Brian Thomas and Kyron Lacey are blowing up in the spring. You know, you got Malik Neighbors back, and you got a whole slew of really talented young pass catchers coming in. That's not even to talk about the tight ends with Mason Taylor coming back, and then others like Kamorian Pimpton, who's a transfer coming in this year, Mac Markway, Jackson McGowan. They've loaded up at tight end, and you better believe all those guys are going to be involved in the pitch and catch part of the game as well. One more, though, from Denbrock. And this was just an interesting comparative answer because remember where this team was a year ago in spring, and we've talked about it a lot, but they were working on habits last spring, just implementing good habits and good practices and what the expectation was throughout the program. Well, now that you're a year removed and you played in an SC championship game in year one and all this stuff, how different is it this spring from last spring?
What everybody's been able to do is now that we know each other, now that we have a good understanding of the scheme overall, we've gotten a chance to really kind of dig into the ins and outs, the details of what everybody needs to do. And not only that, but based on the different things that they're going to be faced with during the season, whether it's scheme-wise, whether it's personnel-wise, they know how we're going to game plan for that, and they can kind of prepare themselves a little bit earlier than we could a year ago for that kind of thing.
Tigers will be back on the practice field a couple of times this week. They're starting to work into some of those scrimmages in the weekend as we inch closer to the spring game at the end of this month. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back, get some of your calls, texts, emails, tweets as we continue to sort of bask in the afterglow of the LSU women's first national championship in program history. We'll continue on AFR.
AFR.
I have something really exciting that's going on over at ProCharge EV. You've heard me talk about ProCharge for several months now. These are electric vehicle chargers, the juice box for your home, for your commercial building. Well, this month, ProCharge is going to give away 3 EV chargers plus installation at your business location. If you're interested, again, totally free, the charger and the installation, 3 lucky businesses in the greater Baton Rouge area are going to win. It's simple. Go online to ProChargeEV.com. ProChargeEV.com. When you go to the homepage, you'll see a box pop up on the screen. It says, win a free EV charger. Hit the Enter Now button, and boom, there's the inquiry form to fill out. It is totally free to enter, and at the end of this month, 3 lucky businesses are going to win a free EV charger plus the installation from ProCharge. Do it today. ProChargeEV.com.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Left elbow jumper Morris is no good. Reese, put back, yes. Badly needed. Rebound and put back by Reese.
Give me the championship call again, Muse. Give it to me again. I want to hear it. Patrick Wright on the LSU Sports Radio Network. A call dude's been waiting 20 years to make.
Morris in the backcourt's got to get it to the front court. Behind her back dribble, she does. 3, 2, 1. Ball game is over. Your Fighting Tigers are national champions in year number 2 of the Kim Mulkey era. 102-85 the final. Tiger fans everywhere, celebrate your LSU Tigers.
There's going to be, by the way, I know this is for those who have been here a while, maybe a bit repetitive, but I understand the way radio works, the nature of it, people in and out of their cars, not going to work. Wednesday parade through LSU's campus at 6:30. They'll end the parade at the PMAC, and they'll have a formal celebration starting at 7. So if you are looking to celebrate. One other thing that I think is important to mention here, Kim Mulkey today, during the championship celebration, pointed out LSU's leadership, and namely Scott Woodward.
Then when I get to work for Scott, who stays out of the way, he wouldn't even cut the nets down yesterday because he doesn't want to be the most important person in the athletic department. And coaches can listen to this because it's so true. When you work for an athletic director and they want to be the most important person in the athletic department, you better go find somebody else to work for. But the athletic director is the most powerful, but they stay out of your way and let you do your job. Scott, you're the best.
Scott Woodward is the best. Got this text into the show from Mason Mars, who said, Scott Woodward's hires are already paying off. The guy's great at his job. Also, Mulkey had high praise of him and his willingness to get out of the way. Extremely bright future for LSU athletics. It's the thing that is undeniable about Scott Woodward and most recognizable, which is you very seldom see Scott Woodward. He wants to work in the shadows. This is something Scott has said since he was hired. There's a reason that you don't hear Scott Woodward on radio much. He doesn't want to do it. It's not that he's not interested. It's exactly what Kim Mulkey said. It's that he wants the players and the coaches to be the faces of the athletic department, not the athletic director. So he wants to exist in the shadows. He wants to be able to do what he has to do, and he doesn't need to be front-facing or public-facing or get recognition or credit. What he wants is the results, and you're already seeing them. Now, to the point about the hires are paying off, yeah, that's certainly safe to say. Year 1 of Brian Kelly, you win the SEC West. Year 2 under Kim Mulkey, you won a national championship. You're in year 2 under Jay Johnson. You're the number 1 baseball team in the country. We're obviously going to see what happens with Matt McMahon as he sort of rebuilds that roster. And there's like we've talked about, there's portal news coming for basketball. You've lost some players in the portal, as I've said. You're going to be on the lookout for players from Louisiana in the portal, potentially coming home. And I think you're going to get good news there, and that'll help LSU continue to build the basketball program back to respectability and ultimately, what we hope is a championship level. But Scott Woodward deserves his bouquets today. The thing about Scott is, more than anything else, I think he recognizes how to get things done. You want to pay Kim Mulkey $2.5 a year, he knows how to convince people to make that happen financially. You want to buy Ed Ogeron out for $17 million, pay Brian Kelly $100 million. Scott Woodward knows the calls to make and is persuasive enough to get those things done because he has the relationships and the ability to do it. And LSU's better for it. The thing I said sitting in this chair the day Scott Woodward was hired was it was the most impactful hire that LSU had made since they hired Nick Saban back in late 1999, December of 1999. And you continue to see that manifest over and over because of his ability to put the right people in place to get things done. And you're seeing all of that manifest on the field and yesterday on the court. Again, the other tidbit, if you missed it, the television ratings for the national championship game, the most watched women's college basketball game ever on any network, ever. And 9.9 million viewers, up 103% from a year ago. It peaked at 12.6 million. It's the most viewed college event, not just women's basketball, most viewed college event ever on ESPN Plus, men's or women's. So a truly historic day for women's college basketball. LSU clearly right there at the center of it. And just an incredible day. An incredible day all the way around. We're going to talk plenty more about this as the week goes along and the days and weeks coming. Certainly with the celebration on Wednesday, and how does Kim Mulkey continue to build upon this into the future will be a pretty fascinating thing to watch. I know some of you have asked about the sort of the controversy with Angel Reese. I did address it in hour number one, but I didn't want to get bogged down in it. It's honestly just disappointing that it's anything that had to be mentioned today. But it's been such a national talking point. It's hard not to mention it. But ultimately, I'm not hypocritical, y'all. I'm a lot of things, and sometimes people don't like the things I say or my opinions. That's fine. I mean, it's the nature of doing this job. But I am nothing if not consistent, and I've told you forever. I love bat flips. I love touchdown celebrations. I love taunting. I love coaches that go into post-game press conferences and don't give me coach speak. They actually give me things that are true and real. I love that. Give me more of that. So, yes, give me Angel Reese taunting Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark did the same damn thing against South Carolina. So give me all of that. I'm here for it. It makes everything more interesting. There are good guys, there are bad guys. There are heels and foils, and you need them. And sometimes it's the team you cheer for that is going to be perceived by the public as the heel. And there's nothing you can do about it. So you just laugh as you hang that banner, which else you'll get to do soon enough. Okay, real quick. I have not mentioned a word about the Pelicans, but I do want to get a quick thought on it because they're trying to make us all look really wrong and really dumb. Let me remind you about Shawbills. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. You know where to find them with 18 locations of Shawbills. The newest location is, of course, they opened up their Denham Springs location at Shawbills. ShawBillsTire.com. If you want to find the location nearest you, remember the Charlie's Dozen. A dozen benefits extended to your vehicle and every vehicle in your family when you buy tires at Shawbills. So you could always go to the website. You can search. You could schedule service. You could find the location nearest you. You could find tires right there just by tapping the tire location. Select the location nearest you. You could shop tires based on whatever specification. You could read about the price match guarantee. Guarantee you'll just always get name brand tires at wholesale prices. It's at Shawbills. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, where we keep you rolling. So the Pelicans won. I was in New Orleans on Saturday, brother-in-law's 50th birthday. So we're down in New Orleans. There was a game going down at the Smoothie King Center, and the Pels were able to knock off the Clippers. And you look up now after Minnesota lost last night. I'm not sure if you saw this, but it was a bit of literally an historic loss for Minnesota. This was the biggest NBA upset in 30 years. The Portland Trail Blazers beat Minnesota yesterday as a 19.5-point underdog. It's the largest upset via the point spread since the Mavericks beat the Seattle Supersonics as a 19.5-point underdog in 1993. Prior to that, Orlando beat the Bulls as a 21-point underdog in 1992. Third straight loss for Minnesota, who now continue their tumble a bit as Minnesota is now in the 9 seed in the West. If you look at it, New Orleans in the Western Conference standings, Denver, Memphis, Sacramento, all have clinched playoff berths. Phoenix, Clippers, Warriors, that's your top 6 right now. So they're in. They don't have to fool with a play-in. The Lakers, Pelicans, Minnesota, and OKC, they're all in the play-in right now. Dallas and Utah are outside looking in. The New Orleans Pelicans are a half a game behind the Clippers and the Warriors. The Pelicans are 1 full game away from being in the 5 spot with 4 to play. 1 game away. And the flip side of it is they have gotten some distance between being outside, right? They are 3.5 games ahead of Dallas. Essentially, the Pelicans would have to lose out. They would have to lose their final 4 games, and Dallas would have to win out for New Orleans not to be in the play-in. So mathematically, it's possible that they could be out, but there's a better shot with 4 games to play of them jumping into the top 6 so they don't have to mess with the play-in. Tuesday, they play tomorrow against Sacramento. Wednesday against Memphis, so back-to-back against the 3 and the 2 seeds, respectively, in the Western Conference. Friday, you're at home against the Knicks, and then Sunday, you're at the aforementioned Minnesota Timberwolves, who we all thought that game would be meaningful when they played it, but at the rate Minnesota's going right now, they could find themselves on the outside looking in. My goodness, what a time! And by the way, I'll say I don't know if I mentioned this last week. I think we're going to see Zion. And from my understanding is it's probably going to be maybe at the end of this week. So maybe look at Friday against the Knicks as a possible target to see Zion Williamson return. I believe he's going to be back. Things could always change, but it certainly sounds like that's something they're planning on, is bringing Zion back for the final couple of games of the regular season and whatever postseason run they may have. So stay tuned. All right, final break of the show. Otter Locks is next. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. Agent225.com. You know where to find them. You might be hearing the new ad running that's Darren's voice, and it is a recruitment ad. If you have thought about a career in real estate, maybe you're in real estate right now and you're not thrilled with the company you're with or whatever it may be, call Darren James. Join Darren's team. 335-7666. That's his cell. Call him right now. 335-7666. Or agent225.com. That's agent225.com. Go work with the realtor that sells more homes than anyone, that has more leads than anyone, that's on the Wall Street Journal's list of the top 1% of realtors in America. If you want a career in real estate or to advance your career in real estate, Darren James can help. 335-7666. 335-7666 or agent225.com. Agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green. This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, Call Hudco Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TV to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch we come, final segment on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otter Locks.
Presented by Lofton Staffing Services. At Lofton, we put people to work. Call us today at 924-0200 or go to lofton.jobs.
All right, so we turn to the one and only, the incomparable and incomprehensible, the Ott Father himself, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
Doing good, Matt. How about you?
Doing awesome, man. Still basking in the afterglow of the Natty. What a day it was.
You know what? And Kim Mulkey has tried, done everything she can, and as far as promotion, but promotion will only carry your sport so far. Some of this stuff has to happen organically, and it has. And you had the perfect storm where this phenomenal individual talent, and Caitlin Clark from Iowa is about to pull an upset on Friday night in winning by a little bit, most of it. So it just grew and grew and grew an audience, and they pull it off. And then you had a high-level game, minus the officiating, on Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, thank goodness that high-profile game, the most watched women's game ever, was Sunday and not the Sunday before against Miami.
Right.
So, it's hey, man, take it and run with it. And my goodness, because there's a lot of tournament games. We won't see 100 score by either team tonight. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
So it's just it's a great about the college stage, also the biggest stage. Kids, how they raise their game, and maybe not so much. And it had a little controversy as well, but it's got an extreme personality as one of the coaches. One of the it's a great accomplishment. We know she's a winner. She's smart. She's driven. She works. She's going to hustle the resources she needs to compete at the highest level as well, as she did in Waco, and she's already done in Baton Rouge. And when you win, it's just that much easier. I can't remember, not just Baton Rouge, But all the national shows I monitor coming back from Beau Rivage this morning, about 7 of them, from Dan Patrick to Mike Lombardi to Mitch Moss, Mad Dog Russo, that led with women's basketball in their opening.
Yeah.
Women's basketball won this past weekend, not just
1 minute remaining.
Well said. All right, Otter, what are we looking at tonight, man? We got to play on the Natty?
Hate the game.
So do I. So do the networks.
UConn looks so good. San Diego State's lucky to be here. Everybody's betting it and pushing it up, but I'm going to have to take the 7.5 and buy it to 8 tonight with San Diego State. I don't like it. Just tread lightly tonight.
Yeah,
so I'm going to take the point from San Diego State.
All right, Otter. Hey, where are you tonight?
We're across the river, baby. West Bank, back in the right now, baby. We're at walk-ons in Bruley getting ready for tonight's Nat.
Awesome, man. Otter follows us. Have a great show. Thanks as always.
Thank you, Matt.
All right, be well. Game time with Jimmy Ott. He'll be at the Walk-Ons Bruley. Can't be in Baton Rouge. Check him out on the Jimmy Ott Facebook page. Muse, Paulie, thanks so much. Y'all have an awesome night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. Do business with someone you know, HUDCO Roofing, HUDCORoofing.com. A couple things to remind you about. I keep having these conversations. So many, and this happened to me. So many of you have had your homeowner's insurance drop because they're leaving the state post-Ida. If that happened to you and you have to replace your roof and you don't have the cash to do it, HUDCO offers financing. If your insurance company has left the state, we'll knock $1,000 off the price of your roof replacement. And if you go with a fortified roof, we'll knock another $500 off the price of your roof replacement. Pay attention to this, y'all. The Louisiana legislature is considering mandating fortified roofs. There's a lot of info about it, but if you install a fortified roof, you can lower your insurance premiums by as much as 52%. Learn more. HUDCORoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. HUDCORoofing.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walk.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll